Where am I looking?
You're looking at like.
So you're doing side on.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So beautiful.
Energy and smile and happy.
I always
and
smile like
Of
this.
course you do.
You know that.
I'm just reminding you to do what you always do. You know? You ready?
Yes.
Sure.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
We could just film a one take.
That would
I
be
do one take.
That would be actually
Me too.
really
Me
cool.
too.
Every time.
Empower is the bright orange flame that burns in our hearts when we think about everything from growth, nurturing, flourishing, all those positive acronyms that manifest in our lives. So how do we become the best versions of ourselves, whether that's finding the best job for us, attending certain training that makes us more effective in what we're doing, or whether we are helping young people to become more entrepreneurial or to find jobs. It is all about igniting the fire within.
Woo. Describe empower in your own words. I would say empower is a force. Is this from my perspective or
From
just
your
in my perspective? Then empower is life. I live and breathe for this organization. So I think about it 24/7. So from my perspective, empower is everything. It's a force. It's exciting. It's fun. It's direct. It's got its goals. It's got its vision. It's got its mission. So to me, that all those words capture what empower is to me.
If I was to describe Empower in my own words, I would have to say, there's so many words, but I would have to say youthful, dynamic, disruptive, exciting, full of life, orange. We're very orange. Positive and growth mindset. Those are the words that come to mind immediately.
I think I've often used the term accidental entrepreneur because it wasn't planned before. And I remember the name Empower came to me in bed. I keep a diary next to my bed so that in case I wake up in the middle of the night, I can just scribble things. So I used to try out logos, and the name Empower just seemed to encapsulate what I believe in from a value proposition, but also how I live my life. And it grew from there, just thinking about what would be important and how I would like to dedicate my life to something. So it grew, or it was born accidentally, but it grew very intentionally. And I think we've focused and have planned and designed where it is that we want to go and what the market needs as well. Okay. So as managing partner, I feel that I kind of have my finger in all the Empower pies, but also specifically as a partner, I oversee the talent side of the business and brand, and the other two partners oversee advisory, and Josh oversees operations and insight strategy. So we plan on kind of rotating it a little bit so we're all comfortable with different parts of the business. I'm comfortable leading on any area of the business, really.
Even finance?
Finance, not as much. And that's why Josh is here, because he is the numbers guy. So I hope I don't ever have to oversee operations. That is not my area of passion, but it is the backbone of the business. Without our ops team, we would not be able to survive. So shout out to them. And I hope I don't ever have to lead that team.
It's hard to say. Yes, my title is Partner Insight. So on a business service side of things, I oversee the Insight department, which is a new department. So I'm on the journey of growing this department from scratch. Well, not from scratch, but from a much younger phase than the other two departments. So it's a new department. It's been less than a year that it's existing. So I think it's only a few months actually. So it's all about growing. So I really see this as an entrepreneurial journey. But apart from that, my role at Empower is really just in the shared operations. So in terms of working with finance, people, technology, to be quite honest, I just enjoy getting involved with most parts of the business. So often I'll try and get involved with any sort of ideation or innovation or strategy type of stuff as well.
My main focus area at Empower is varied, but is since solidified since I started. When I first came into Empower, I kind of had a marketing role and more kind of looking at strategy for the future, working on the brand values and mission and vision, and that was really fun. But then it became apparent I really wanted and needed to get involved more in the client work. So I shifted into the training department. And learnt very quickly, because I had to, how to be a moderator, a trainer, and a coach, and I loved it and really took to it. So I've developed there, and now I am looking after the advisory department. So Empower has grown immensely in the last 12 years, obviously. I think everyone knows that. So advisory looks at team building, consulting, learning and development programs, also moderation of events. So that's my remit. Obviously, I have a fantastic team working with me. I'm not alone. And we do lots of interesting projects in those areas.
I didn't have a career before Empower, so there's no career that I left behind. I think I did some door-to-door sales before I left. I actually quit uni in my final year to join Empower because I just saw the opportunity. I was at the time Miranda was running the company, and I could see it was growing, and I just wanted to be part of it. So that summer I packed my bags. They thought I was coming back for just holiday, but I knew I was coming back to join Empower. So I packed my bags, I left everything, came back. I knew I was joining. Miranda didn't know that, but I knew that. And then I just told her I'm coming as an intern. I took on some key projects, and then she was like, okay, you need to stay. So I made it work. So no career left behind, no regrets either.
So I, believe it or not, am a teacher by training, and I did work in recruitment and in corporate training before I started Empower. Do I miss it? No, because I'm doing it in a bigger, better way now. I feel that I've transferred a lot of those principles, particularly around drama education, into our learning and development programs. I still feel that I am a teacher in what I'm sharing, whether that's with team members or with client teams. So I'm still living my purpose, I believe.
Yeah, so what many people don't know is that before I was at Empower, I worked in a very different sector. I was in retail and specifically marketing. So my background is in marketing. I'm a marketeer by profession, specifically looking at market research and insight, which we do at Empower now as well. However, it was in a much different environment. It was corporate world. And I since have ventured into entrepreneurship, working for Empower. Do I miss my old career? No. Of course not. But do I appreciate the journey I've been on? Yes, because I've learned so much there and brought it here and adapted it and used it to really propel and fuel the work that I do here. So no regrets on that. It was a great career change. But moving from marketing to HR and kind of a different world in a different market was challenging and still is. But I love what I do. We always say, it's a labor of love being at Empower. It's all about having a passion for people. And the thing that I love the most is rather than looking at product, I'm dealing with people. And that was the big transition for me. So I'm very happy.
So in very simple terms, Empower before was an infant, and now it is a teenager with a bit of attitude. You know, it's got ambitions, it knows where it's going. And I think the infant was kind of crawling around, I should say. The infant was crawling around trying to figure out what direction to go in, and didn't have all the processes and procedures that were needed for a company at that point. And I think now the teenage Empower is far more organized. Of course, it could be better. It has big dreams and ambitions of what it wants to become as an adult that will involve, Pan-African expansion and expanding our service offerings. So it's a big difference. It's great to have more than one person accountable at the very top of the organization. I used to feel quite lonely back in the day. I had great team members, but when it came to making decisions and solving problems, I felt like I was on my own. And I don't feel that way anymore for two reasons: having siblings that work with me, but also having a management team as well. And I don't think we had any managers when Empower first started. So it's a positive thing.
I vote you.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, it's different. I will say that. But for me personally, I can't speak for you guys. I enjoy it because it means we can be totally open. It means that we can share how we're really feeling. There's no corporate politics. It's just real stuff. Sometimes that's difficult, but I think we do a good job. And I would say our big thing is we have shared values. So because we share the same values, it makes it quite easy for me. What about you, though?
I pretty much agree. I think that we do a good job of getting along. It's the most common question we're asked is like, how do you work with your siblings? Are you not fighting every day? The crazy thing is we work together, and then at the weekend we switch into sibling mode, and it's like, what are you up to? Are we going for a drink? Am I coming to your house? Then on Sunday it's like, okay, it's family day. See you at dad's. Like, we are genuinely quite close, and I think the beauty of it, as well as the shared values, we're friends as well as being siblings and being business partners. So works quite well.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
Really?
Well done.
Just fun fact, we actually used to have two WhatsApp groups. We had one as directors and one as siblings. We've since merged them because it was getting annoying.
So it takes
Okay.
discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
10, 12 years from now, Empower's fully blown adult who stands alone, fully independent. And what do I mean by that in the business? How does that play out? I mentioned before Pan-African expansion. We want to enter other markets. We also want to expand within the Tanzanian market. We want to bring other services to the table that we feel people would need. We want to become a lifestyle brand, so go beyond being what people would call an agency or a consulting firm. We see ourselves as a lifestyle brand that is there to help people learn and grow and become the best versions of themselves.
Empower in 12 years will be huge. Yeah, it will be across multiple countries, regions. It will be something completely different, I'm sure. We restructure our company every year because the structure we put every year doesn't fit anymore the following year. We're growing so fast, and growth is not just about revenue, by the way. Growth is about impact and the amount of people that we are coordinating or working with, whether it's clients, whether it's candidates looking for jobs, whether it's people that are viewing our content online. So Empower could be anywhere in 12 years' time. It could be completely morphed into something else. But one thing I'm sure about, it will be a large organization in terms of impact. So large for me is not revenue, it is how many lives, how much coverage do we have, how many people are we interacting with. And every year that number increases.
Empower in the next 10 years. Oh, it's just so exciting to think of. I think the key thing I would love to say is Empower is bigger than any one person. Empower is, a movement. Empower is for the people. And when I say for the people, we are very much Pan-African in our mindset, but I would like to say our heart is in Tanzania. And I really, really would love to carry that outside across the continent. We would love to carry that. So Empower in 10 years is still a loved brand, not just in Tanzania, but across the continent, maybe even across the world. We aspire for that. Doing great things, disrupting, growing people, growing organizations, and just all about growth. So 10 years from now, we'll be a much bigger team, spread across the world. In our new way of working in the world, borders don't mean a thing. We can work virtually. We already are. So that's what's going to happen. And I'm very, very excited for it. Will I be here? I hope so. If not, it will still be flourishing. So, yeah. That's a good question. Miranda?
Make sure you really know who your siblings are and have shared values. Just because you're related by blood, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can make a business work. It could be a disaster and it could cost you your relationship. We're blessed that we're not in that space. but I've seen it go wrong for others. So shared values, openness, and understanding and acceptance of this is who Josh is, this is who Ella is, and this is who Miranda is. And for the flaws that we all have, we accept each other as we are.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could add to that, I would say also be prepared for the ugly side. And when I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean it in an important way. You know, you have to be realistic. You're gonna have days where you don't get on or you don't see eye to eye, and you have to be so disciplined to not see that person across the boardroom table as your brother or your sister, but actually as an equal partner to you. So that's hard, but you learn it and you practice it and you get better at it. And don't make allowances just because you're siblings as well. And I think huge credit to Miranda for opening the doors and letting us in. But I think one thing you always say to us is, I didn't do it because you're my siblings. I did it because
You earned it.
we earned it, or we had a passion, or we had a vision that was aligned to yours. So yeah, make sure that you're clear on that. It's not just, we don't work together because we're siblings. It's because we want to do something together.
Mine is clear, operational integrity. Some people tend, when running a family business now, tend to give each other allowances. Maybe, oh, Miranda's got some financial trouble. Sure, let's just give Miranda some money from the company bank account. We stick to rules and policies, just like any other member of the team in the organization. So I think that has really helped us to maintain clear boundaries and clear way of working. Everything we follow is company policy. We don't have allowances for family or so on and so forth. I think that's so important.
Sure.